Oh, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and I just realized. Never mind. Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal. And we're live on a Sunday afternoon, which means we're talking about coping with stress. Like the coping with stress that I had. Actually, maybe I just put the hairband back on again and be happy with it. Okay, there we go. I don't. Now you know how I cope with stress. All right, so everybody, a very warm welcome to you, and I hope that you have been handling your stress well over the last few days. Uh, I want to make sure that you understand that it doesn't matter what stress we talk about this week. It's the same. We know it's the same results, the same answers, the same everything for any stress you may have. So the fact we may talk about the stress about one thing doesn't mean that it's the answers are only about that one thing. It's the same basic principle all the time. Hi there to Jeannie and to Jody. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin and does a great job. And Jeannie backs her up when she needs can't be there for some reason. So I'm very grateful to you both. Thank you for being there. I'd like to remind everybody, please, follow us on Facebook and Twitter because that's where we update information about our viewers. Not only those that might be in the chat room talking with me tonight, but also those that I see are in the background there watching quietly. And we are more than happy to have you there. And I just want you to know whether you're in the chat or not doesn't matter at all. The main thing is that hopefully we are helping you in some way. And when I say we, understand that Dear Mama Sal is not just me. It's a little group of people who get together 3 times a week. And we talk about various issues, how to live life on less money, how to cope with our feelings of fear and frustration and eating a hair. Uh, all those things, all right? We talk about them every week. Why? Because every week we have real life examples of them that we hope will help other people. So my favorite monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, who recently passed, said, "Smile, breathe, and go slowly." I want to tell you, I repeat that almost every week because I have found that alone calms me down a lot. Do any of you feel the difference when you hear those words of just smile, breathe, go slowly? What happens is we all get caught up in this hamster wheel of what if, what if, what if, what if, and da 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 da, when really what helps us is to slow down. Yes, Jeannie is saying the war in Ukraine has brought up many things for me. My grandmother, for whom I was named Jeannie, came from Riga, Latvia. Yes, I have total understanding of what that's like. One of my very dear friends um, comes from one of the Baltic states, which is already starting to threaten verbally, if not physically. So, I think we all have good reason to have some level of fear and concern. But how we handle it here at Dear Mama Sal is we don't cope on what we can't do. We work on what we can. And what we're going to do is to give you some examples of what I've been doing, what other people have been doing. So if you have managed to divert your attention from thinking about this morning, noon, and night, feel free to let me know in the chat here just what sort of things have you been doing to distract yourself. Yes, and Jeannie's saying, my father was born near Minsk, and that's Belarus, right? I think. Anyway, and his family left when he was 3 years old. Wow. So, the thing to understand is a lot of us have heritage there. A lot of us, have heritage that in the Ukraine and in in those sort of areas. And so the thing that is most important for us all to understand is it won't just affect Ukraine. It is already affecting all of us. How many of you have noticed that the price of gas has gone astronomical already? How many of you noticed that the price, of certain foods is going astronomically already? Why? Because the price of gas has gone up. Therefore, the price of everything goes up. So, you look at all these things, and our job is to observe it, to be aware of our feelings about it. And then it is really important for us to work out what our needs are, and then to do the best we can to satisfy our needs in today's reality. In today's reality, all right? It's not the same as it was. By the way, if some of you know that I normally, about this time, do thoughts and prayers for our viewers, but quite honestly, today I would like to do thoughts and prayers for the people of the Ukraine and the peoples of the world, because I believe there's a negotiation going on tonight or tomorrow, and that could affect everything. All right, so Jody's saying, I've been keeping balance by spending time cooking, binge watching. She's been watching her favorite comedies. Yes, do things that make you laugh, and talking with dear friends. I just want to mention, I don't think there are any birthdays for our regular viewers this week. So if you are a regular viewer and happen to catch this and go, wait a minute, Sal, my birthday was this week, it means that we didn't have you on our list. So just let me know. We cannot acknowledge it if we don't know about it. So Jody is talking about some of the things that she's done, and I'd like to sort of talk about some of the things I've done, and hopefully some of you will also tell me some of the things that you have done. And in the meantime, I've got some quotes to add to it where we're going to talk about, how to cope and when we're having difficult times. Elizabeth Edwards said, resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before. You can fight it. You can do nothing but scream about what you've lost. Or you can accept and try and put together something that's good. If you think about that, don't waste your time complaining about everything. Say, okay, I know the price of everything is about to really go through the roof. What am I capable of doing to economize even more? And, for those of you who watched the Friday evening broadcast, where we did, we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meals from 2 chicken breasts, 5 portions from 2 chicken breasts. And also, where did I put it? For those of you who were interested, I did try to I did not try. I dehydrated some chicken along with my dehydrated tomatoes. Okay. And you're probably wondering, what does it taste like, Sal? Well, crunchy. So good. Now, this was the chicken that I previously marinated in soy sauce and lime. And I want to tell you, really good. And what we found out is dehydrated grape tomatoes, that's half of one, end up, when they're dehydrated, sweet. Oh. Now, for those of you who've been following the growth of Peter the potato, I got a picture for you. Now, for those of you who don't know, I decided I wanted to find out, could I grow potatoes inside my house? In other words, I'm trying to think of my viewers who may not have a balcony, may not have a garden, may not have the ability to do these things outside. And I started growing at the end of December. I started putting together this potato tower. The thing about potatoes is as they grow up, you sort of put them in the dark, and then they grow up a bit more and you put them in the dark. And then all the places where they are growing underneath the dark, they shoot out roots, and those roots end up carrying potatoes. And for those of you who have not seen the tower, it is now that high. So it's one, two, three milk cartons high now. But what I want you to do, if you can see it, and this is amazing because if you remember on Friday, it was halfway up, that last one. It is now coming over the top of that top one. So you know I'm going to need to put another milk carton on there and put more earth in there. Isn't that amazing how quickly it grows? Of course, the thing is we have no idea whether we will end up with potatoes, but what if we do? But in the meantime, how many of you can feel my excitement about even experimenting with it? And how many of you will be eternally grateful if it actually works and one day you need it? You know, you go, if I start now, I can have fresh potatoes in my house at no cost for the rest of my life. I mean, if you could do that, would you be interested in doing it? And by the way, the whole thing is I used mulch leaves, leaves that I collected in the in the fall, and I mulched them, and then I fine mulched them even in my Ninja. Then I nuke them to make sure I didn't have any bugs in there. And so the earth and the mulch all is hopefully bug-free. Probably a couple got away with it, but, mostly bug-free. So what I want you to do is talk to you about all these things we're talking about. It is about being more able to look after ourselves. Jeannie's saying she went out to get soups with meat. Good. Extra rice, pasta at the grocery store. Good. I have a fair amount of pasta at the moment, but I'm thinking of getting some more. And then I also wanted to say I did a bit of research. There was discussion. I think Kimmy was busy telling us if you store flour, it gets bugs in it, whatever. The only way that flour gets bugs in it, if you store it well, is that the bugs were already in it. Does that make sense? So buy good quality flour that you know about, because if it's good to start with, the chances of having bugs are slim and none. I also have found out that if you put your bags of flour into ice cream buckets or anything else that's pasta or anything else, if you put them into an ice cream bucket, put the lid on it, that is a food safe container, and you can keep dry goods in there almost indefinitely. How many of you are going, that's good to know? And by the way, you're going, but who wants ice cream buckets around? Well, it makes, some of you are very creative. You'll put a cushion on top of it and turn it into a spare, make it look like it's a spare seat, Some of you have room to put it elsewhere. But the main thing is, can you store extra flour in an ice cream? It needs to be a food quality plastic container. And everything that I've done the research on says absolutely. The only thing is, if one bag of flour has got bugs in it, they may migrate to the other ones. So you might want to sort of have a couple of ice cream buckets going, just in case the one ends up with a problem. So that's good for us all to know, isn't it? Now, I found out that planting seeds makes me happy. It was one of my distractions. Basically, you all know that going outside is going to make you feel better, all right? Just go outside. Go get some fresh air. One of our viewers has a wonderful habit. Charlotte, who lives in Eastern Canada. She has a wonderful habit. Now, that weather there is not what you might call California weather. So, but she made a commitment to herself that she would go outside for 30 minutes a day, every day. And I think for a year, all right? And at the moment, she is about 300, I think she's 300 days into that experiment. Now, I've got to ask you to think about that. If you went outside every day for 30 minutes, and it doesn't mean you have to go running or exercising, or you can go potter in the garden or clean up. I find going out and just intentionally sweeping. Why? Sweeping's good exercise. So, it's just like, okay, that's good core exercise, sweeping. And then I do it the other way a little bit. And, I'm actually trying to use the half hour to do, multitasking stuff. So, how many of you are doing that? Those of you that can get outside. And for those of you who can't get outside, open a window for half an hour. I know what you're saying, Sal. It's bitterly cold. But you know something? You need to change the air in your home. And I think you will find that most people who are healthy have a habit of opening up the windows in their home for at least 15 minutes. All right? Get fresh air into your home. Don't keep recirculating bad air through it. And what I do is when I go out to do things, I don't close the door behind me. All right. I just go, okay, I'm going outside. And while I'm outside, what I do is I let the fresh air come into my house so that when I come inside again, it already doesn't feel that cold because I've been outside, and I assure you that's a lot cooler. And then, I just close the door and then I warm up with the house. So, think about that. I found cleaning a good distraction. Have any of you found that out? Oh, by the way, I want to go back to the outside stuff. But you all know that I'm busy now getting my seedlings started for the spring. I found that planting seeds is a really good distraction. Why? It makes a big mess. So not only do you have all the, I don't know about anybody else, but when I plant seeds, I talk to them. I keep praying that they're going to work this year. And so I found that planting seeds is working really well. And by the way, I'm really pleased with, and I always will continue to show you this. Did you see how my celery is doing? Now this, all right, is literally a little thing. It's got no earth in it, right? It's just, and look at the roots it's giving, but it is also growing very nicely, thank you. So, and I use this a lot for garnishing, right? When I'm making foods and I want just a little bit of taste of celery, I'll just take a couple of leaves and let it go. But yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a root already coming down for more water. I find that so exciting. I don't know why. What else have I got? I got another one. Oh yeah, this one hasn't started growing yet, but what I wanted to show you is this is the bottom of a leek. So we'll be doing the same with the leek as well. And then they'll go into my garden once they've got by the time it gets to May, these will have really strong roots on them and hopefully will be doing great. And they'll just go straight into the garden. So think about that. Don't throw away the bottoms of those sort of things, or just if you're somebody that likes to cook and have garnishes, then Again, remember, I bought these on January the 25th, and they are still giving me plenty of spring onions. Just got them in a little bit of water, top up, just put a bit, about once a week, I take them out, rinse them off, put some fresh water in the bottom. But that's been going since January the 25th. So that's the the gift that keeps on giving. And quite honestly, it gives me too much. As you can see, they're already breaking off. So what I will do here is cut these off, and then, as some of you know, I just put them in a little container like this, and then I put them in the fridge without a lid on it. Just leave them in the fridge like this. And then what happens is they dry in the fridge beautifully and keep their color. So I now, this is just this month's collection, but I have, quite a lot of spring onion. So if I couldn't afford to buy onion, do you understand? I've still got the onion taste and lots of it. So think about that. Cleaning. We are getting close to spring if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Every time you start to worry about Ukraine and what could happen, I would really suggest that you start cleaning. Wait a minute, let me just go back a step here. Jeannie's saying, I tried the scallions, but mine seemed to die. I cut off the tops and I'm trying again. Okay, so all right, let me tell you what I do. As soon as I get them, I cut off the tops. All right? That's the first thing I do. Is you can probably see here, all right, they've grown up, but the first thing I do is I cut off the tops. Actually, the first cut was even lower. Look at that. Why? Because these will die very quickly. What you want to do is encourage it to keep growing. So as soon as you get them, Jeannie, put them in water, but then I now just keep cutting them at the level of the glass, and then they'll keep shooting up. I wanted to show you. Very pleased with this. You know what these are? Spaghetti squash. And these have started to grow from seeds I got from a previous one. So isn't that amazing? They're looking, hope I can keep them growing, but they're looking really strong. And come May, hopefully they will be nearly ready to give me little baby spaghetti squash. Now, is it possible to keep them inside and do that? Probably. That's the experiment. So I find that planting seeds is good for my mental health. Playing with, with dirt, with nurturing things, whatever. However, if you haven't got that ability or wish, then think about spring cleaning. Right? Every time I've got a new thing that I do. I can only sit for an hour at my computer. All right. I've now got an automatic clock that goes in my head that goes, you've been sitting for too long. And so what I do is I get up and I am systematically spring cleaning so that my mind is not constantly checking on the TV what's happening in Ukraine. Did we start World War III? I have started doing things. All right. Now, I'm pretty certain that your house has areas that need a bit of spring cleaning. Now, you probably don't have as much work to do as I do, but one of the things I did. Can I show you that? Oh, hang on a second. going to move the computer, I think, to show you. Yeah. Can you see all the stuff on top of my cupboards there? There you go. All right. So one of the things I did yesterday, because I really worried about what was going on in the Ukraine, one of the things I did yesterday was I took everything off above my fridge all the way around to here. And I cleaned it all off, cleaned the top of the cupboard. It was make work. But you know something, I realized I've been back for nearly a year in my house. So it was time. It was time to clean above there. And it did surprise me what I got off there. So therefore it's rewarding. How many of you have noticed that even though your first reaction might be, really? But when you're finished, you go, well, that's good. I'm glad I did that. It's good for your cortisol. Is it cortisol, Jody? I think it's cortisol, right? That we give out when we are happy. So I found that I really enjoyed doing that, and I found that excellent. Yes, Jeannie's saying I rearranged my pantry goods. Jeannie, I went to go and find out. I'm starting to find out in categories what have I got. All right, because now I think I'm nearly at the point where I have a fair amount, but I want to know what have I got. I found one thing that I've got tinned pasta with meat in it. I've got 12 cans of that, and that really surprised me that I managed to get it up to that. Just buying an extra one every now and then, when they went on sale. Dopamine, there we go. Dopamine is what I meant. Now there's another one as well. Never mind. We'll work it up. Anyway, so now the next category I looked at was, what about things like, I've got some cans of Spam. Why do I know that's a good thing? Spam, we know lasts forever, just about. And so I've got some backup cans of Spam. High sodium, I know that. Not necessarily, health food. I know that. But you know something? If the cost of meat gets so bad that I can only afford to eat it once a week or less, or the only meat we get is a little piece like that once a week, then I'm going to be glad that I've got some backup meat. I'm now going to start increasing and getting more tinned fish or tinned flaked ham, things like that, right? It's pretty decent price that you can get it for at the moment. But know that anything in a can is going to get very expensive pretty soon if we continue this war and we end up in a worse state, right? So I find that sorting out your pantry to find out have you got enough. Yes, Jeannie's saying we always buy canned chicken breast meat in water. Yes, very good idea. For those of you who like tuna, get some canned tuna in. Jody made a really good point yesterday to me, or Friday late evening, which was, have you thought about your pets? How much food have you got in reserve for your pets? And I know that it's going to be possible if you had to feed your pets from other things in the future, if you really, really had to, because you just have to think how many dogs survive out in the wild, not able to have really good dog food. But it's like, but if you want your dogs, remember to look after their food as well as you look after theirs. All right. So maybe put some extra dog food into a, get ice cream bucket and put extra dog food in there just in case there is a shortage of dog food. You've got a supply. But again, remember to use it up, cycle it through. I really found that doing cleaning normally used up at least an hour of my time. That's what I do. I go, okay, you go and clean for an hour somewhere. Right, Jody's saying we've got a year's worth of dry dog food for Taylor, and we're ordering the wet food this week. Way to go. That's a responsible pet owner. How many of you have been working on distracting yourself by maybe just getting up from the couch while you're watching something and walking in place, all right? And literally all right, let me go back. Can you see my feet yet? There they are. Hi, feet. Just literally going like this, you'll be amazed what it will do um, for your body. All right. Why? Because you're turning your core, and so it doesn't matter whether it's snowing outside or really horrible weather or whatever. Just move. Right now, if you can, if you can, wait 1 second. If you can also move your knees, right? I'm not lifting my feet, all right? Do that, even better. What I do is I actually do a series of things where I will do 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm bending my back in a different way. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I balance 1, 2, 3, 4, or not, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'll move to the other side and balance. All right. So what I'm doing all the time is just using different muscles. Now, the reason I say that is because almost anybody can do that. You don't have to have special equipment. You don't have to, it's just about, are you keeping your muscles moving? And I have to tell you that I'm amazed what a difference it's made in my life to do that. I am trying now to work my way up again to more exercise. The weather is still nasty, but it's getting slightly better. And so from that perspective, I've sort of upped my challenge to myself. I'm not hitting it yet, but that's part of the joy, right? So now I'm just working to increasing mine. Because I want to make sure that I keep using and my body. Why? It's good for my stress management, right? Movement is good for your stress management. Going and cleaning a window is good for your stress management, right? Because you're using muscles. You're getting your blood pumping, and it's pumping oxygen into your brain. It's like, think about it not as exercise, think about it as stress management. I saw a really nice quote that I liked. Let me just bring it up. For those of you who've got people in your life that are frustrating you, I found this quote and I thought I'd share it with you. And it says, never reply when you're angry. Never reply when you're angry or when you're hurting. All right. Never make a promise when you're happy. In fact, I recommend never promise anybody anything. I don't do it anymore, and I don't let people make promises to me. When people say, oh, I promise you I'll do X, Y, and Z, I say, please don't do that. Because life will get in the way, and then you're going to feel terrible because you promised me. Please don't promise me that. By the way, the last one is never make a decision when you're sad. All right? Wait until you are balanced again before you make decisions. Very important. So what we need to do for our stress management is not just because of, as I said, not just because of Ukraine. It has to do, Kimmy's saying, I need to remember not to reply to somebody who makes me angry. I want to tell you something, Kimmy. What I do is I 9 times out of 10, I read it. Right, the thing that makes me angry is something I've read. Hang on, I just want to get back to where I was here. And what I do is I go, that makes me angry. So what I do is I put it on snooze. and have it come back to me in 24 hours. And what I find is in 24 hours, I will have thought about it a lot. I would have tried to see both sides of the situation a lot. I would have reminded myself of a bit of nonviolent communication, and I would have done the right things enough so that by the time I do reply, it's not back at them. It is like, oh, I heard what you had to say. That was interesting. I don't have to say I agree. Or I just will say, hey, thank you for your opinion. I don't have to say the fact you think I'm a waste of skin, is not very kind. I don't have to say that. I just need to say thank you for your opinion and sharing it with me. Because, there's part of me that goes, I'd rather know the truth. And I guess I just did. And how about this one? This came from Mark Morton. And he said, never say that you can't do something, or that something seems impossible, or that something can't be done, no matter how discouraging or harrowing it may be. Human beings are limited only by what we allow ourselves to be limited by. What we allow ourselves to be limited by, think about that, all right? Our own minds. That's what limits us. We are each the masters of our own reality. And when we become self-aware to this, absolutely nothing in the world is, absolutely anything in the world is possible. Now, for example, I like to think ahead. And so I've been thinking for a while, what do I want to do for my house for spring? All right, that's part of my stress management, is to think one season ahead. So do I have enough seeds that I want? Yes. Okay, what else would I like to do? Well, I'd really like to brighten up my bedroom, I thought, for spring. And then, you go, well, I'm on a budget and I'm not quite sure whether I can do anything major. So what could I do that wouldn't cost a whole lot of money? So any ideas? Let's see what you come up with. Think about your bedroom and think about what could you do to update it, brighten it, downsize it, do whatever. What could you do right now to get yourself ready for spring? And I'd be very interested to hear any thoughts that you have on that. And what I did was I thought to myself, you know something? I want some more color in my bedroom for spring. And as some of you know, my color scheme throughout the house is gray and white. And I have dark walls. Huh. All right, I can't show you that color, but I have almost a dark blue-gray as accent walls, all right? So I thought, okay, what can I do? Yes, Jody, that's exactly what I thought. I thought I could, she's saying change the accent pillows. I thought I could add some, all right? But because that's what I want to be able to do is to change them, I bought not only the accent pillows and covers, but ones that I could change, right? Ones that got zippers on them that could change. So I got, what color do you think I got? Allowing for the fact my bedroom is gray, white, and that deep gray, bluey gray color. French blue almost. Deeper than French blue, actually. What would you put? Now, the reason I'm asking you to give me some input here is because the chances are it will actually brighten you up a little bit just even thinking about that. And that's what I want you to think about. Jeannie's suggesting new shams and comforter. Yes. I also put those on my list as well. Well done, Jeannie. I did those as well. All right, just to give a new feel to my bedroom. All right, so here we are. Yellow goes well with gray. Yep, that's what I thought too. You notice I'm wearing gray so you could see. So what do you think? By the way, they are so comfortable to lean against. So total cost, I think I spent about 20, $30 most. All right. But what difference is that going to make? And then come the fall, or if I want to, in the summer, I just need to buy new covers. All right. And this year, if I get new covers for each season, I will now have. All right. All right. So there we go. Will that brighten up my bedroom? Be very difficult not to. By the way, I didn't mean to get such big ones. I thought they were going to be this size. But boy, am I glad I made that mistake. So in case you want to know what size are they, they're 24-inch by 24-inch. And it's got really good filling. That came, bought that separately, the actual pillow itself. And then you buy the covers separately. So good idea. Brighten up your life. And how many of you know just getting them? I was so excited. So do you think I was thinking about the war in Ukraine while I was busy unpacking those? No. Now I've got another thing for you. Experiments are my thing. For those of you who may not be regular viewers, I haven't got it ready. So will you excuse me a second while I go and get them? Okay, so I've been doing the Marie Kondo type fold for my t-shirts like this. All right. And I think you know that I've been frustrated because they seem to smell musty very quickly when they're folded like this. So then, being who I am, I thought, okay, fine, plan B. Hang on a second. And so what I did was to actually get two things working for me at the same time. I don't know about your house, but in my house, I seem to be throwing away an awful lot of cardboard because of Amazon packaging and so forth. And that's been frustrating me because I kept saying to myself, why can't I find another use? Oh, are yours gray as well, Kimmy? Kimmy's saying she's got the same floors as I have. All right, so really good color. Anyway, so what I did was I started to cut some of the cardboard up into roughly, what is it, 8? Yeah, about 10-inch squares, right? And then all I do is just literally put it like this, fold my clothes like this, and like this, like this. By the way, this is one of my work shirts, so you can see it's got some glue stuck to it. And then when I get it like this, I just flip that under, and then I did that slightly wrong. There we go, flip that under, and then it goes on the pile. And how many of you are going, that's way neater? The other thing I've noticed, and I don't know whether it's by accident, what I'm doing is before I use those cardboard things, the ones I'm going to use this week, I just spray them with some nice smelling stuff. All right. And that is amazing. and then I just leave it in my spare room until I fold the next lot. And so by the time I go to fold it, it's still got a nice aroma to it. And how many of you would love to have your t-shirts looking that neat? I'm going, I can't believe I did that. But it also is reusing it. Right. And Kimmy's saying she's going to start painting on cardboard. As you know, I've been painting on cardboard for a long time. It just is great if you're an artist. Hang on a second. This was painted on cardboard, and I'm trying to get it away from the spotlights, but you would never know that, all right? So canvas is getting very expensive, absolutely. And how much cardboard have you got? If you like painting, it's a really good idea, all right, to start using cardboard. I have got a painting that I did. I've got a painting that I did. If you really want to see it, let me know, and I'll take a. Wait a minute. Let me take a picture of it rather than take it down. That's easier. I nearly took it down. But this painting, I painted about close to, I would think, 32 to 35 years ago on cardboard. And I needed it to match some furniture I had at the time. And I painted it with a spatula from my kitchen. And 35 years later, no glass, nothing protecting it. It's still there, and I still love it. So good use of cardboard. So I want you guys to start thinking of other uses. Let's help the environment and think about it. I'm also thought I would mention to you that I'm starting to get my feet ready for spring. I don't know if you noticed when I walked back, but I've got my flip-flops on. These are I love these. These are my Birkenstocks that I got last year, and I want to tell you, I did not waste the money. All right, so Kez is saying, hi, can find a lot of great items at thrift store, linens, yes, lampshade, curtains, trinket bowls, jewelry, wall art, colorful pots, your favorite. Exactly. Go to your local thrift store, if and repurpose something. Take with you. Yes, Jodie's saying one of my favorite stories, the cardboard and spatula painting. Yes. Kimmy's saying use cardboard for drawer dividers. How many of you could cut up cardboard and actually make really nice drawer dividers? Hey, if you don't like the look of cardboard, paint it, or buy some of the the sticky shelf drawer liner stuff and just put that over it. It's something to keep your mind off what's going on. Now, another thing that by the way, the whole thing about why am I starting to wear flip-flops only for a part of the day is I want to get my feet ready for them, right? I don't want to get blisters and stuff. And by the way, these never gave me blisters, but I want my feet to be ready for them again. And so think about that. What shoes can you start putting out so you remember that at least once a day that you put one pair on and walk around for a while just to make sure they're not going to give you blisters a bit later on. All right? Good idea. And it will help you sort out your shoes. How many have you not worn for the last 4 years? And maybe they go to the thrift store. I found that I spent a lot of time watching, first of all, the Australian Open, and then the Olympics, obviously. Totally missed my sleep pattern. Totally, good idea, Kaz. I'll get to that in a sec. Totally messed my sleep pattern up, and it was so bad that I needed to not complain about it. I needed to do something about it. And I must say, I got myself some of that melatonin. Have any of you heard of that? Just over-the-counter stuff. Boy, did that make a difference. Just wanted you to know that, right? If you've got a sleep pattern change and you want to just correct it, I found that really worked. Kez is saying take cereal boxes and use them as file folders. All right. I buy the big cereal boxes. Okay, hold on a second. No, I don't have one here. My cereal of choice is mini wheat, and I buy the big box, and I love these. Why? I think I've got one in here. They are great for organizing stuff. I need to show you another picture. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back. Now, obviously, you will have your own ideas of what to do with them. I use them for sorting out storage. Now, for example, in my laundry room, I found that they fit perfectly between two cupboards. And so I put, my spare tea towels and things in them and so forth. I haven't even bothered to paint them or redo whatever. They're just like that. And inside my pantry, all right, I've got different categories of stuff in there. Have I got them in here? Not in there. No. This is another box that I had that I keep different spices and things in. So think about reuse, recycle. Oh, interesting. Jeannie's saying her dog Misty takes melatonin. All right, so there we go. But I really have to say, think about how you can reuse these things. And remember, the reason we're talking about it today, it's great distraction away from what you're doing. This painting was one flap of an Amazon box. One of the top flaps. Now, if you look very carefully, which you probably can't see, but there is a very slight bend in the cardboard right there. But you have to be this close, and I have to think about it to see it. But, it's like, so maybe you cut up some cardboard, right? It will distract you away from what's happening and get creative. What do you want to tidy up for spring? And start doing it. Now, what I also found is I get my dishwashing pods in these sort of containers. Boy, are they useful. And these have got little recipes in them where I'm during the week when I'm sort of researching what shall I do for Friday night. If I find anything, I just print it out and I stick it in here. So I've got ideas, all right? So really useful container, very easy. And by the way, I could have put it all in a binder, but I just literally fold it in half and in half again, and boom, in it goes. And then, got room for lots and lots and lots. And probably by the time I've got it full, I will start another one anyway. So just an idea. How many of you found out that because of what's going on in the world that your comfort food eating has gone up? Right? And if it has, that would be quite normal. All right? Understand that would be quite normal. However, how many days did you do it for? And that's the whole thing that we always talk about, right? Which is, it's not about what we do. It's how long does it control us? So if you had one night where you had a sugar craving and bowed into it, not a major problem, even if it's for a couple of days. Or maybe it was carbs, maybe you craved carbs rather than candy. Or, whatever it was. Maybe you craved salt, sodium instead of eating more healthily. Doesn't matter. Just be aware. Remember what we say. Number one is to be aware. And then ask yourself, how do I feel about that? Well, I felt quite good about it until my weight started to jump up. And then I didn't feel very good about it. So then what do I say to myself? Then you need to change what you're doing, Sal. I'm not getting upset because I'm put on weight. This is called, the reason you put on weight is because of what you stick in your mouth. So therefore, we need to get what we're putting in your mouth under control again. Yes, Jody's saying my comfort food indulgence went up for 3 days. I'm back in control. My blood sugar went up. My weight went up. My blood pressure went up. All of them. And by the way, when I saw that on the news, when I saw that horrible weapon that they've got that literally sets fire to the oxygen in the air, and then in doing that sucks the oxygen out, and so anybody in that area, will die because of that, because the oxygen will be sucked out of their body. You're going, who develops? Who thinks that's a good idea? And that made me angry. And then I thought, Charles, getting angry about that is not going to change it. It's still there. And they've probably got far worse lined up. But what I found settled me down again, and I don't know about anybody else, was to watch the brave people in Russia who are now going out and protesting and getting arrested, some of them. But more and more are going out, and you're going, how many Russians would love to live in the freedom that Ukrainians have had? And so, it's really, to my mind, it could end up being eventually very difficult for Putin, because I think the Russian people are beginning to want to have those freedoms now. So we'll see. So think about your comfort food. It's not that you can't have any. Just be aware. What I did, I said to myself, okay, I really fancy comfort food. So therefore, I changed what I had for dinner. I didn't have any carbs with my dinner because I wanted to have dessert that had carbs in it for dessert. And by the way, I really want to recommend this. Do any of you make crepes? I decided to make crepes with almond milk instead of real milk. Well, that, I need to tell you, is something I will be doing again. I did not expect it to taste good, quite honestly, but when I tasted it, I went, that is now the way I'm going to make crepes in future. So just literally, I took some flour, I took an egg. What did I take? About a cup of flour, I guess. I could have put almond flour in there, but I don't have a lot of it. So anyway, I put about a cup of flour, an egg, and then almond milk. And I just whipped it all up in my magic bullet and did it on my, my crepe cooker that I have. Oh, did I enjoy that. That stopped me thinking about what was going on in Ukraine for at least an hour. Then I poured a mixture of stevia and brown sugar and some lemon juice, and I want to tell you, I was a very happy camper. So this is about, it's normal for us to want those sort of things at that time. And then, I thought, well, would it have been more healthy for me to take the tomato and chicken dehydrated snacks that I made? And I went, yes, but then they wouldn't be there to show you today. But I can have them tonight. Again, I was surprised how good they were. Oh, I told you I was going to do an experiment about sprouts, all right? sprouting seeds. I've got a couple of them going. Oh, hold on a second. Now, obviously, because I've decided to make my own sprouting microgreens, I've ordered up some, are they called gung beans, I think? Anyway, I've ordered some of those up. But in the meantime, I thought I would sprout some peas. One of the things I need to tell you, not everything wants to be covered in earth, all right? So here's what I did. These do like to grow in the dark to start with. So I just took a reuse sour cream thing. I bought the wrong one. Oh, that's the wrong one. Anyway, I got some peas that are about to sprout in there. But where's the one that sprouted? Here we go. I found some beans, seeds that I have, and look at that. They've started sprouting already. Can you see that? So we talked about it on Friday, and already mung beans. Thank you very much. These are regular beans, but how about that? And all I did was put them in a small mason jar with a bit of water in there. Probably could do with a bit more now. So I'll just spritz it. There we go. And then I just put a little thing like that on top. All right, so there we go. I am now on the way to making my own bean microgreens. And I ordered up the mung beans because that's the next thing we will do. Now, the thing is, all right, so Kez is saying, listen to this, you can hear Kez's mind going. Kez said, I've seen graffiti artists do art on a canvas board, use bottle tops, rip newspaper, etc. You know, and so you can hear that she'd quite like to try that. Why don't you do an experiment, Kez? Send us a picture so we can see it. All right. And then she said, hearing animal shelter workers not leaving was little comfort, but worried about the wildlife and that they can't fly away. I thought about the dogs and cats in the Ukraine as well. And I did worry about that. All right. But worrying about it won't fix it. Maybe donating to organizations that are going to be looking after those would be a good idea. Again, be very careful. I have received 2 scams this week, and I'm waiting for the scams to start about Ukraine. So please be very, very, very careful. All right? So think about that, all right? Expect there to be scams about raising money for Ukraine. What I'd say is make sure you donate to things that you know. You know the Red Cross is going to get money there. You know your bank has probably got a way to get money to the right place at the right time. But, you know, be very careful of what you do. If somebody phones you and wants a donation, I make it a rule. I do not donate over the phone. That's my rule. That way I know I'm not going to get scammed. Even if it sounds good. Do you want to hear about the scam I got this week? Interesting one. Very clever. It was somebody who had my name, first of all, because they called me by my name. And then they said, to me, we just want to let you know that your Canada pension is being increased for the next few months. And so is your old age pension. So I went, okay. Now already there's a red flag. I do not expect to hear that over the phone. I expect to get that in writing, right? So number one, a red flag went up. But let me play the game. And then, they went on about how it was going to increase by this much money, which was quite substantial, and which obviously had my attention and so forth. And they did quite a good job, actually. I was, there was part of me smiling, but part of me is going, I would like this to be true. I don't think it is, but I would like this to be true. And then I said, okay, fine. And I'm waiting for them to shoot themselves in the foot. Right? They're going to do it. I just have to wait until they do it. And it took about 5 minutes. And then he said, and we just wanted to check that you're still at this address. And they gave part of my address from the previous place where I lived. You remember I sold that and came here a couple of years ago, but it was just a little bit of it. The street number, not the street number, just the street. Now, how they got that, I don't know, but they're pretty good, these people. And at that point, I went. I know for a fact that Canada Pension and my old age pension know exactly what my new address is, and the reason is because I get those. Do you understand? And what I said was, "You have to be kidding," and I just put the phone down. So be prepared to get scams coming through. Don't get angry about them. Check them out first, but understand and the next thing they were going to ask me was they want to confirm my bank to make sure it's still the right bank, and could they just reconfirm the bank number, and there we go. Do you understand how good these people are now? How they got my they probably going through reverse directory stuff and just punching in numbers and see what comes back. All right. And they get part of the address when they do that. And that's how it all starts. So be very, very careful, people. All right. Jeannie is adding that Estonia and Poland are allowing people with pets to come in more easily into their land. Yes, I saw somebody carrying their cat on their shoulder. Oh, yes, Sandy, please mention it to your mom. Very, very important. And the other thing I had come through in the last week that I thought I might mention, in case any of you get it, somebody sent me a text message. I think I left it in there so I could read it to you. No, I nuked it. Oh no, here we go. All right, and it comes through on my phone with vaccine rewards. That's what the heading of it was. And it said you won a $150 prize to reward you for your full immunization to COVID-19. Reply A to accept your reward or C to cancel it. Okay? So the next thing they're going to ask you for is your bank account number to deposit it or confirm it. Yeah, it's a scam. So just be aware. Don't be angry. I'm sad. I don't know about you do, but I always give up a prayer for those people and hope that, in my lifetime, they wake up to the fact what they're doing to human beings. So now Jody said to me something that funny enough, we both thought about the same time this year. And Jody said to me, one of my challenges for Lent, for those of you who celebrate Lent, is to shop from home and buy only beverages and salad ingredients weekly. So she's going to be using up the vegetables in her freezer. How many of you are going, I need to do that? But we love fresh vegetables, don't we? And so therefore, why do we keep buying frozen? Because we can. And frozen vegetables last a lot longer. But funny enough, I, at the same time, already had, Jody, I know it's probably difficult to believe, but this is the note I already had for today's broadcast. I'm going to work through the items in my kitchen freezer and either eat it or throw it away. And then what I'm going to do is start moving stuff from my big freezer into the small freezer and eating through it. All right. And then, I will still be buying good deals and putting it in my freezer, but I'm now going to, first of all, try and work through what is underneath my freezer here. There's a lot of vegetable stuff in there that's already been there a year. So time to go. And the other thing is, how many of you know you have got stuff in your freezer that you have cherry picked around? I've got some stuff. I already know what it looks like. And I'm going, I know I keep looking at that and I don't pick it up to eat it. So if I don't pick it up to eat it, why it's still taking up valuable space in my freezer? I need to just take a deep breath and go, no, I'm not going to eat you. So therefore, I'm going to add you to my compost or, throw you out. Now, if you haven't got a compost collection for food, I find a really good trick that I use every now and then is I will just put, obviously you can't put meat stuff into your compost, right? Because it attracts the rodents. But what I do is if I got a couple of bits of meat or whatever, what I do is I just put it into well, first of all, it's a good idea to freeze it and then just use it next time you're making a soup. Think about that. But if I do want to throw it away, then what I do is I just put it in my magic bullet thing and put some water in it, blend it up until it becomes just a liquid, and I put it down my drain. So, and by the way, if it's bigger, you might want to think about putting it in your toilet. Another way, it's going to go and decompose in the right place. And you know why? So I like the idea for Lent. Why don't we see how much we can not buy vegetables? All right. And how much room will it make? I want to tell you, in this freezer, I know I've got a lot of vegetables. And if I say, okay, I know it's been there for a long time, and what I'm going to do is take a big cardboard box, take it all out, put it there, and then try and get it back in some sort of order. By the way, we were talking about those cardboard. These work really well in a freezer. Did you know that? This sort of cardboard. It's amazing how it holds its shape in a freezer. And again, remember, most of the space we waste is high space. All right. So I like to keep things in smaller containers and fill them up. So we've talked about the food grade plastic buckets. All right. Anything else that you have been doing to detract your mind away from what's going on in the Ukraine? And let me know. Just hold on 1 second. It's really important that we understand that what we are capable of is keeping control if we want to. Now, my question is, have you already found some of your friends who are totally wigging out over what's happening and, Third World War problems and, all that? Have any of you had that happen already? Oh, I got such an itchy nose. Because we need to keep remembering what we are doing here is not looking after ourselves alone. We want to make sure that we look after our friends. And if you have somebody, sorry, for some reason my internet didn't want to give me the quotes I wanted. It is really important for us to keep track of friends that we might have that are wigging out over what is happening. Now, we all need to be concerned. We all need to do what we can to keep ourselves under control. But sometimes we need to make sure that our friends are okay. How many of you have increased the number of calls you've made to your friends this week just to make sure they're okay? Yeah, Jeannie's saying, going back to the freezer story, eat from the freezer during Lent. She said she bought some ice cream for her husband, York, and he didn't eat it. I finally threw it out because it was taking up a load of room. Yeah, absolutely. So that's not wasting money. If it's not being eaten and throwing it away is a good idea. And I found that I made a number of calls to friends this week just to sort of check on them. And I didn't mention what was going on in the Ukraine, but if they brought it up, then we talked about it. But, I just wanted to make sure they knew I was thinking of them. Jeannie's saying prayer is our solution. If the worst comes, we're ready to go. That is a very emotionally intelligent way to be. I don't know about you, but we're sitting in the lap of luxury compared to what some of those Ukrainian people are now going through. But all those that have got out, how lucky are they? Even if they're refugees with just the clothes on their back, how lucky are they? And, the courage of the Ukrainians who decided to turn, some husbands made sure that their families got out, literally walked them out and then turned around and went back to go fight. I think that's pretty incredible. And so we can pray for those of us who have faith. We can donate to our churches that will, have special drives and help. There are going to be a lot of refugees needing homes. So if you are a churchgoer and have faith, make sure you are on the list if you would be prepared to take a refugee in for a while, all right, until they got on their feet, all right? If that's what you could do and you'd be willing to do. And it would, it wouldn't be easy to do, but it might be necessary to do. It is said that we all have battles to fight, and it's often in those battles that we are most alive. It is on the front lines of our lives that we earn wisdom. We create joy. We forge friendships and discover happiness. We find love and do purposeful work. Yes, Jean is saying the Ukrainians are showing us what true courage looks like. And also, what fighting for your country looks like. You look at what it is, that they're doing. They're sitting there with basic weapons fighting against one of the greatest superpowers, military-wise. Just amazing stuff. I want to say that the courage of, if you remember, their president was a comic, all right, who happened to play a school teacher that became a president of a country. That's how and then when the elections came, they voted him. They wanted that man to fight corruption for them. And, in the TV program, he fought corruption a lot, right? And so what happened was the Ukrainians wanted him. Even though he was acting a part, they wanted him with the scripts he'd been reading and the mentality he had. Now, I want to tell you without any doubt in my mind at all, one of the greatest quotes that will go down in history about this will be what that guy said when the West phoned him and said, "Hey, we got an exit strategy for you. We can get you out." And he said, "I need ammunition, not a ride. I need ammunition, not a ride." So this guy who never meant to be president, never wanted it, but got voted in by the people of Ukraine, this guy turns out to be perhaps one of the greatest leaders that you can imagine. I've got tears in my eyes because the very idea of it. I told you on Friday about those guys on that Snake Island. and the big warship sent, there were like a few people, 100 people or whatever on that island, and the warship got hold of them through the comm system and said, lay down your arms, because if you don't, we're going to hit you. And they told them in 2 straight words to go away. And they didn't use the words go away. And I told you that they've probably been taken out because no more was heard from them. I understand they may not be dead. I understand they may have been taken prisoner, which wouldn't be pleasant, but it's better than maybe than being dead. So let's pray for them as well. Greg Kincaid said, no matter how much falls on us, we keep plowing ahead. That's the only way to keep the roads clear. Think about that. I think about Jody got cancer, overcame cancer, got something else, overcame that, got something else. Jody's had this road of, like, every time she takes a step forward, that every time she clears a hurdle, she turns the corner and finds there's another hurdle there. Now, that takes great courage, doesn't it? That takes great courage. And to me, I look at, Jeannie with her fire. One minute she had a happy life and nice retirement, and the next minute she lost everything except her husband, York, and her dog, because they got out, and a few possessions, not many, a few possessions, and so you look at it and you go, people go through this stuff, and they either get beaten down by it or they learn from it. I look at what a great shopper, Jeannie has become, to rebuy things on a very shoestring budget, right? Because she didn't have necessarily all the insurance coverage that she would have liked. And, I know that story. I also had a fire. And even though I had good insurance coverage, I clean forgot to claim for certain things. And I realized that as the year went on, after I'd signed off on it and everything, I thought, my gosh, what happened to all my other jewelry? I don't know why, but jewelry never came up as a big thing in my mind. And when I was going through it, I realized I had all this jewelry that I had got hidden away that must have been shoveled up and removed. Too late now. No point worrying about it. No point being upset about it. But I realize it might be a good idea, everybody. Take pictures of the jewelry you own and keep it somewhere. Kez is saying she's been distracted because Queensland, where she lives, have been massive flooding for the last 4 days, and still going to get 2 more days of rain. Later this week, New South Wales flooding as well. Yeah, so we know climate change, right, has changed everything. And anybody who says we don't have climate change needs to think again. And so there you go. Be aware. All right. And Kez, what can you do? All right. What can you do? Not what can't you do. No point worrying yourself sick about all the animals. Last time when you had the fires, remember when the big fire thing happened? I realized I couldn't do anything. And then something came up, and I saw an organization that was helping save the koala bears. Kez, and I went, or is that new? Yeah, they have koalas, right? And what I did was, that's something I can do. And I donated to the Koala Bear Fund and felt good. So, look at these things. My friend Marnie, you all hear me talk about my friend Marnie, a canceled dinner that we were going to have this week. You know why? She knows that certain dogs are being brought in from an area, and she's going to volunteer to look after those dogs. All right. So, we got things we can do. How many dogs are going to need homes? Be careful about those as well. Again, if you're going to adopt a dog from Ukraine, make sure that it's through an organization you can trust. How many people are going to pretend that they've got a dog coming to you from from Ukraine, and there's no such dog. They just want your money. So my attitude is, a lot of people, a lot of organizations will bring dogs in, then get them. All right. Those, don't send money overseas. Wait until they bring the dogs in, and the rescue people will advertise that they've got a new group of dogs in, then go and adopt a dog. That would be my recommendation. Strong people alone know how to organize their suffering so as to bear only the most necessary pain. All right? That's, again, emotionally intelligent people don't waste all day crying their hearts out. What they do is they feel the pain and they move on with their lives, knowing that turning themselves into a wreck is not helping anybody. What they need to do is to keep strong and help other people keep strong. That is how people survived the war, right? People survived the war because there were other people that helped them mentally cope with it all. We know that there are going to be so many children that are going to be traumatized by this. They have no idea what's happening. When a shell goes straight through their apartment building, how do you explain that to a child? There is no way. I don't know about you, but I've seen anchors literally tear up as they're giving the news about that sort of thing. And you go, and that's an anchor. They're trained not to have reactions. They're trained not to emotionally. You don't become part of the story. Your job is to tell the story. But I watched an anchor, just literally, but have the tears start streaming down her face, and they had to go to a break. But I didn't hate her for it. I just thought, good for you. That's real. So everybody, it's going to be a stressful week. I don't know what happens when they do this negotiation tonight or tomorrow. I don't know what Putin's next move is. All I know is that we hopefully, and I'd like your commitment on that if I can, you don't have to promise me, but that we will keep helping each other. And we will keep finding ways to distract ourselves and share that information with other people. What did you do this week that helped you? I want you to keep notes for us, all right, so we can keep giving people new ideas. And know that we will hopefully get through this together. If we end up with a war and it becomes a nuclear war, I believe Putin's already taken nukes into Ukraine. If he has, this is not going to last very long. But who's to say that he's just not saying that he has? All right. I don't think that Putin wants to end the world. And so, Jody's saying, supporting one another is what we do. I'm so proud to be part of this group. Well, I want to tell you, it is exactly how I feel. And I want to give you my commitment that as long as I have, oh, by the way, expect the internet to be messed up. Expect there to be ransomware happening. I think there's going to be an awful lot of interruption to our services coming up. Hey, expect it. Don't be surprised. Be prepared. Make plan Bs. All right. And so I am very proud to be part of this group as well. Why? I know that we will help people. And I know that you will help me help people. And that to me is the greatest gift I could have. And then I will continue to show you how my little potato tower is working. Or that I've managed to make my own bean sprouts. Yay. Why? Because maybe a year from now, we'll be very grateful. I don't know. And maybe you can just roll your eyes at me and go, what is she up to now? Well, hopefully you'll find some of it entertaining, because I will continue to try and be as self-sufficient as I can, just in case. Not that I have to, just in case. I want to know how to do it, just in case. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, do try almond milk with your crepes next time. So good. Love you, dearie. Okay, hang on a second. Kez is saying, read that a man escaped with his fish. Aww. Police officers rescued parrots from ruins. People had left 2 suitcases to carry their pets. They can donate one only because Australia doesn't allow pets from countries. Wow, yeah, that's right, they don't, do they? So let's do this, people. Let's see what we can do, and let's keep our spirits up. Let's keep ourselves entertained. Let's make sure we do what we can. Get some fresh air. Get some, go out for a quick walk. 5 minutes will be really good for you. But go out and just walk the block. I'm thinking about, hey, I wonder, whether we'll start planting community gardens again. All right. In which case, I'd like to have the seedlings ready. It's just like to me, I'm going, I can do this. I can contribute in my own way. I don't have to be, fighting a war. I can be helping people survive a war. Why? I have some of those skills. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, let's do this together. And make sure, as I said, make sure that you bank some of your medications if you're on medications. You might need them. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, love you dearly. Let's go through this together. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jody.